Everybody, we're here today with Jesse talking about Ludus again and how to set up a quick Active Directory lab. Go ahead, Jesse. Let us know all about it.
Thanks, Magos. Appreciate it. All right. So, we are here to create an AD lab with Ludus. So thanks everyone for coming by. Thanks for taking time out of your day to be with us and to check this out. So real quick, since I'm not on screen, I will show you who I am here. Hi, I'm Jesse. I do a bunch of things all over the place. I like forensics, red team, blue team, all the things. But if you want to learn more, just go to my LinkedIn. It's there. I'll share these slides afterwards, by the way. So you can click on those or not have to take notes during my presentation, really. So cool. So what is in this presentation? What's the agenda? The agenda is what is Ludus, which I love, by the way. Why Ludus? Because some people are probably skeptical. I don't blame you. And then what it does for us, how we're going to do it, how we're going to deploy the AD within it, like automate building a lab versus, going to Microsoft, downloading an ISO, installing, click, next, and so forth and so on. How to just make this super easy. So I'm like going into the why right now. I just talked about some of the why. So really no more manual setup of Windows or even Cali and some configs, not all configs. You'll still need to like put your favorite tools on, right? Or like in like an Active Directory, you might want to put your favorite like vulnerabilities that you want to test or check out, that kind of thing. But for me, it's going to be no more cloud bills. So I've been using like AWS, CloudFormation, and some other things to automate stuff, but I'm just not happy getting the bills. And this has been really great that I can just take it, put it on like a pretty decent PC, and have everything automate on-prem for really nothing going forward after you buy the initial PC and such. So with that, that gives me more time for testing, gives everybody, I think, more time for testing all sorts of stuff. And those kinds of sort of stuff is like testing forensics. So you like, some intrusion happened on a system. You're not quite sure what a tool does. So you spin up an AD in Ludus and you'll use some tools, put it on the system, throw your favorite forensic on it, and then image and check out the artifacts and do that kind of cool investigative work quickly. Same with like detection engineering. Again, you can run your pen tests or your other adversarial tools and use your favorite detection mechanism and test things quickly with that. And of course, you can just test pen testing, red team development of procedures and approaches with this as well. So let's go into, okay, that's enough, joking around there. Let's go into Ludus. So what is Ludus? So if we go to this site, really, I'm just going to guide through this site because they really say it really well here. Ludus is the easiest way to deploy a dev test infrastructure on-prem for me, for sure. So there's a video here. And again, you can go to this link later. This actually goes through deploying a range and some extra stuff that I won't go over, but definitely worthwhile to check out at a later time. Please do that. So I like this statement right here. So you're paid to assess or defend, not configure. So in some companies, that's totally right. So what Ludus does, it'll deploy and configure complex networks and VMs and such in just like a single command, which uses like this YAML file here to the right, which if you're familiar with like CloudFormation or Terraform or stuff like that, this syntax will look kind of familiar. I'm not going to go into the syntax right here, right now. When we're doing it live, I'll do it more then. But just know that this is pretty much all This is the majority of like where Ludus goes to figure out how to config. There's some other things. Oh yeah, let me say real quick that I'm not a pro at Ludus. I'm still trying to figure it out, and I may misspeak some things. I might not use the right words in some areas. So please forgive me if you have any questions. Definitely, question away. Hit me on a DM in Discord. Happy to like go into it and be like, yeah, Jesse, you said it this way. Did you mean that? And I'll be like, oh, I totally didn't mean it that way. Thanks for, bringing that up, that kind of thing. So just throwing that out there because I've just been working with Ludus, kind of just reading the docs and just deploying and like trying different things out according to the document. And I've definitely learned a lot because I'll talk with one of the developers of Ludus a lot, and like they're like, nope, that's not how that works. It works this way, and then I get this like really great detail. So that's also I have a lot of information that I've also gotten from the developer. So if you hit me up, some of that might come out as well. So cool. Hopefully, some of that actually comes out in this presentation. But I'm just going to say that I'm not a pro. So definitely reach out, definitely have questions. So, okay. So back to this. So again, we're going to install an Active Directory. In fact, Ludus makes it so easy to like do multiple DCs. Like really, if we look at this YAML, like where it says VM name all the way down to another VM name, really, if I just copy this whole thing and paste it below and change this from primary -DC to, I think, member, basically that's how you create another server connected as a DC to the domain. Super easy, super quick, just like copy paste. And of course, up here, this last octet, that's your IP address. So you have 4 octets in an IP address, and the fourth one, they're like, go ahead, configure it however. So I would change that too. I'd put it to like 12 or something, right? And that's really all I'd have to do that. And if I wanted a whole bunch of those, I just copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. It's not quite like, I know people are like, wait a minute, I do Terraform and I can just say like, spin me up, 4 of these with like a number 4. Nope, it doesn't do that yet. I don't know if it's on like, the game plan. I know it's not right now because I definitely would use that. So onward and upward. So it also installs like Microsoft Office. So people that want to pen test and they want to like do a phishing lure, this Office will actually be there for, the client or for the user to click on to actually like simulate it. It also does a sysprep. So that's what allows, an image to be unique every time so that, yeah, you can join it to an AD because otherwise it thinks it's the same machine if you don't sysprep it. So cool. And you could also put like chocolatey packages, and then basically you could put whatever software you want from this thing. We won't go into that though today. So going through, I'm not going to talk about the deployment because this isn't about deploying Ludus itself. So I'm not going to go into that. So here's like a complex network that it can create for you based off of something like this configuration file. So again, it's doing a lot of cool stuff. Like it's separating VLANs. Like this is VLAN 10. This is VLAN 20. This is VLAN, was that 99? Right? And so it's separating those. Like if I go back up here, like here it says VLAN 10. And if I went down to this VM, I could have said VLAN 11. And so that would separate it just like this. And so it's like that easy to make a VLAN. It's like, oh my gosh, it's so nice. And then of course it'll spin up, whatever you want. Again, here's 2 DCs. And I mentioned how, you just copy and paste and then change basically the octet so that it doesn't have the same IP address. And then you're good to go. That kind of thing. Pretty cool, pretty awesome, pretty efficient. And so some of the other things that allows you to do, not only create different separate networks and the VMs inside those networks, it'll also allow you to connect to like say the Windows systems with RDP. What's really sweet about this is you can run a command that says something like Ludus range RDP, and it'll dump out all the RDP files that you just have to click or import into your favorite remote management tool. But basically a clickable link RDP file that just gets you into the system. No more like having to like, I don't have to like, oh, I need to MSTC. I need to click on this. I need to enter the IP. I need to, all the things. You don't know. It's super cool. Another cool thing that I like with this is that it does VNC for Cali. So as long as I'm VPN'd in, I can just in my browser, as you can see up here, I can just use this port 8444 and whatever the Cali IP address is, and I can get a Cali that way. Super cool, super awesome. Love it. Oh, let's get back to where I'm supposed to be. And then, so since I said VPN in, people were like, okay, so what do you mean VPN in? Okay, another cool thing that Ludus does is it creates like a WireGuard server in Ludus, and then it goes ahead and it'll create configurations per user to get into the network. It gets kind of complex. I can go into that later on how to use it. Like you could use it, like let's say you want to build this network here for a workshop, and you want to have a workshop of say like 10 people. Well, 10 people can have individual WireGuard configs, but they can all share the same range. Anyways, that's a complex topic for another day. So you can also create an inventory if you like need to know like what do I have in my range. There's an easy command to like figure that out. Pretty nice. So all right, onward and forward. Let's keep going. Another cool thing about this, they say OPSEC built in. So what you can do once you have the VM going, you can do this thing with testing. It's like, let's see here, Ludus testing stop is on that one, Ludus testing start. So like if you start testing, what it does is it basically can block the internet. So you can go ahead and if like, say you're running malware or something, you can go ahead and just run your malware and you won't have to worry about it going and leaking out into your network. It's all confined within your network. And so I think I can show that off if I have time later on. But it's pretty nice to isolate your VMs from the internet. And also before it isolates, part of that command testing, Ludus testing start, it can in the configs, I can show this later. It can snapshot your VMs before the isolation happens. So really good. Again, so like you're going to start some kind of thing to just have that clean backup version before you go ahead and maybe make a mistake so that you can revert it later. Really cool stuff. All right. So again, love this statement. Stop configuring stuff and let's just start doing it. Let's just start doing stuff as the red team. Let's start testing things as blue team, whatever color you are. Let's just start getting to work. Get it going. So with that, you can check out the rest of this stuff and what people say about it, but let's just kind of go to the next slide. Let's just get into it. Let's just deploy the range. So I don't know who here has Proxmox up and has Ludus install. If you don't, there is a how to quickly install it on my YouTube, but we also have one on 0404 on how to get stuff set up and going. So definitely check that out to get up and going with Ludus so that you can get to the point that we're at right now. Because there's a whole lot of stuff, and I'll just go into it real quick. Over here on the left, quick start. If you go to install Ludus, there's a lot of requirements. And one of the ones that really may bite you is like the CPU pass mark score. It needs to be a certain level. It needs to go really fast for certain automation to happen and occur smoothly. Also, RAM is also very beneficial, and also NVE SSDs kind of deals is also good. And please don't use Wi-Fi. Try to be directly connected so that, again, things can go really fast. There's a whole bunch more details in getting to where we're going to be today. But check that out if you haven't already, or if you're curious about doing it. So cool, right on. Let's get to it. Let's deploy a range. So with that, I've already got a Proxmox up. As you can see, I've got a bunch of users that I've already created, about 8 of them. I even have that workshop thing that I mentioned. I have this workshop range already built out with the AD. So this is kind of the baked version of where we're going to be at the end of this presentation is we're going to have this AD. It's right here. So I can make this bigger. You'll have this AD right here. I can prove that it's an AD. It says it right there. Ludus domain, DC01, so forth and so on. It'll have a Windows 11 in it. So again, here's Windows 11 right here with big info, hooking you up on that info. And then your Cali Linux, which am I? Let me see if I have WireGuard going in this environment. So I got WireGuard. I call 152 Skull. Okay, so yeah, I have it. So I can go up here and let's see. Let's look at the IP. So this is 10.399. So 10.3. So this is 10. Oh, I had it for a different one. So we'll do it this VLAN. So there we are. Here's my Cali. I'm in Cali. This is a sneak peek into something a little bit down the road in this presentation, but super cool that that's there. So yeah, again, that's the baked version. We'll get to there. We're just not there yet. So the user that I'm going to use for today's deal is this JM user. So there's nothing in here right now. As you can see, nothing in there. So, all right, so let's get back to deploying the range. So we'll just see what happens if we just if I leave you on your own and you go to this this documentation, if you can, if we could get through this. So let's try to get through this. So first thing, let's do this. Let's do this Ludus range config get. So I'm going to pull up my favorite remote desktop manager tool. So that would be this. Oh, what? Oh, someone maybe off mic or something. It's fine. All right, so yeah, back to the presentation. So let's see here. So I'm on the Intel, the NUC. Earlier I destroyed a range, so that's probably what you're seeing right here, where I destroyed all the VMs. So that's another cool thing with Ludus. Here's the command, Ludus range, just remove. And it removed the whole range for me. Pretty cool. Much like what Terraform would do or other things like that. Anyways, so cool. We're here. As you can see, I am root right now. I'm also, if we go to what you gotta do is you have to export your Ludus, and this would be in other documentation, but just so that just in case you skip that, you'd have to put your key here. So basically, you're exporting this environment variable with your key, and the key is going to be specifically, it's going to be for that JM user, because that's what we're going to spin up in that user's environment. So we're gonna have that key. I already have it. So spoiler alert, I have it in my my bash RC. So I have it in right here at the bottom. Basically, I have that exact command, but at the bottom of this bash RC. So I don't have to do it ever. It's just there. So how I can test that even works, if I just do Ludus templates lists, basically run our Ludus command. All right, so I got something back. So that means that API key is actually working.
You got a question?
Yeah.
So you're doing this on the in a shell in this VM that has Ludus installed, right? Okay. So, but you're doing it as the root user. Can you do Ludus commands as a non-root user in that specific VM?
Well, I'm not in a VM. I'm using my physical Ludus machine. So if I go here and I'm just,
it looked like you were in the Proxmox webpage with a shell or something.
Yeah, I'm in this thing, this NUC, this. Yeah, I'm in this, and this actually creates this GUI for it. And I SSH'd into that via, this. So I'm SSH'd into it. I'm not SSH'd into a VM, but the actual physical NUC box. Make sense?
Okay. Well, regardless of whether or not it's a VM, right? The idea is you've got a shell in a machine that's got Ludus installed. and all your commands that you're issuing are, via this SSH session as user root. So is it possible to run the Ludus commands as a non-root user?
You can use the client in a different VM under a sandbox-ish looking thing. So that's actually covered in, like, if we go here, we go documents.
Like could you create like a Ludus user or something?
Yeah, right here, create users. Yeah, so you can totally use a different.
So you don't have to run it as root.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
You do not the way I did. And again, VM does matter, by the way. And like Ludus within Ludus also matters, is like VM within a VM. Those things do matter. The easiest way is to do it on bare metal, I suggest. You can.
Well, I mean, couldn't you actually like use, like, if you had a pre-existing Proxmox installation, right? Because I know you could use Ludus on your bare metal box to point to a different box, and like if it had Debian 12 in it or something, I guess it'll, you can use that to actually install a Proxmox server, right? But at least that's my understanding. But if you had a pre-existing Proxmox server, couldn't you just create a VM within that and then install Ludus within that, and then you're using that to manage the Proxmox server from itself?
So
I think
real
it's
quick,
technically
I'm
possible.
going to interrupt here real quick, just because Eric from Bad Sector Labs posted an answer in the meetup text saying that the Ludus client runs on Linux, Windows, or Mac OS and does not need to run as root, and the API is open if you want to create your own interface.
Thanks, Eric.
Anyway, right on.
Yes. Cool. So, yeah, let's get back to it. Yeah, there's a lot of craziness with this, that's for sure. So, okay, so we're back here. I'm using the JM user, and I just made sure that I could do things in it. So, shorten this up, get back to here. All right, so we're going to grab this config. Yeah, it's kind of hard. All right, so get the config. It'll just spit it out. So now we'll go through it a little bit. So again, like earlier, we have our VM name. The range ID is going to be that JM because we're going to use that user. And then it'll tack on this. I won't go through this all because it'll just get really boring. But you can see there's that VLAN again. Here's that last octet. Here's the last octet of Windows 11. And let's see here. And then Cali. Okay. So this is a real basic AD environment. So basically it has ADC and then it has a Windows 11 joined to it. Okay. So cool. And then so we can go ahead and push this range config to an actual YAML configuration that will use the deploy Ludus command against. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll open this up, go in here. And before I do that, let me make sure I don't already have that. Okay, I don't have that config there and I'm not overwriting it. That's what I wanted to make sure I wasn't doing. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that config that we just saw, and I'm going to put it in that YAML file. So we'll do that. Then I'll just do head just to, little sanity check. And as you can see, yep, VM name, again, DC, there's that VLAN 10. It's there. So that's cool. That worked. That's awesome. So let's see. Next thing we can do is we need to set that range for deployment. So what we'll do is, again, copy this piece. And yep, I can do the whole thing. Nothing. For a second, I was like, can I do that whole line? I can. So cool. We'll go back here, put the whole line. Again, it's Ludus range config. Now we're setting it to that configuration. So when it goes to deploy, it knows to deploy that configuration. So that's what we'll do. All right, good deal. Yep, looks like we had success too. And then, oh crap, like we're this close already. Holy smokes. Yay. All right, so get back to here and we'll go up here and we'll click Ludus range deploy. All right, so it says range deployed. We're going to pull this over to the left. We're going to look at our GUI here. And as you see, already it's spinning up most likely the router. Yep, Debian 11 to give it a network and all that kind of stuff. So while that's doing that, though, I'm just going to dive into a few more things that I don't think are, maybe they are. Let me look. Oh, they are. Cool. So let's go ahead and use this Ludus range logs, which basically watches the step-by-step plays that happen that build out the environment. So let's go ahead and I'll copy that. Right click. And as you would expect, it's just kind of tailing the log file. And so if people are used to like watching or using Ansible, this looks very Ansible because it is. So what it typically does is you can name it something and then you can like say something about it. So this task is setting a host name macOS. And it tells you if it's skipping it or if it failed or so forth and so on. It says a bunch of stuff. So as you can see, it's just kind of going really fast through things. So again, this is super great that you're not like manually doing all this, right? Because you could like mess up or, definitely miss something, can be very slow, all the things. So this is great. It's just the same thing every time. You're not straying from anything. It's a desired state kind of deal with this. So cool. Like, let's see where we are right now. Let me look really quick. Set the VM ID. Is it doing the Windows already? It's so fast. We'll just look at the actual GUI. Yeah, it's so fast. Oh, it is. Okay, so part of this process, just to explain this a little bit. So what it does is it starts a VM. It starts building it out. And so while it builds out and does a bunch of Ansible against things and like does the configurations, by the time that it's done, it'll go ahead and, well, it'll be done. But I was thinking of templates there really quick. So I was thinking, so before you can even get to this state, the other null 404 thing talks about templates. You actually have to get these templates built out. And the way they build out templates is it actually builds the VMs first. And then basically it's doing this, convert to template. And then it converts it to template. And then there's this repository of templates that this is using when you see that configuration file. So when you're doing, this will help a little bit more. So when you're looking at that configuration file, so back to head, I'm sure it'll do it. Yep. So you'll see here it says template. So it's using those templates in there. Specifically, it's using the Windows 2022 server template to actually build out the VM. So that's to make it a little bit faster, right? So that's super cool. So yeah, this takes about an hour, believe it or not. So that's why earlier I said, hey, we have this like pre-baked environment because we're not going to wait here and watch all these logs build out everything that it needs to do because it's doing a ton of stuff in the back end. It's updating the network interfaces. It's like waiting to get an IP address. It's changing IP addresses. It's doing all sorts of stuff. So we're not going to wait for that. We're going to keep going. So let me go ahead and look what's next on here first before I just start going off-roading. Oh yeah, there's this too. This is super cool. So okay, so if you don't need the granular, like that's cool, that's great for you. Very like you want to know the play-by-play. But I just, I'm an executive and I just want to know what's the end result. So if you're that kind of person or you just want to know that kind of stuff, this command is for you. So let's go ahead and go in there. So let's make this big again. And I'll just cancel out of this. It doesn't really, it's just logs. So I'll just add, it should be Ludus range status. I don't think that I can actually say, maybe I can. I don't think I can. Okay, no, I can't. Does it not? Did I just not copy that right? We'll see. I'll look at it later. But anyways, so you run this and it's like wrapping around the page. So let me do that a little bit. So it's doing what we think it's going to do, or at least what I thought it was going to do. And that's say, hey, it's deploying. It's like, yep. And so like, for me deploying a bunch of this a bunch of times, I have some kind of insight. Like for instance, I know how far along it's still like configuring stuff because it hasn't changed my last octet yet. These are still like a different like DHCP octets that it's using to like build out things and do things. It'll actually assign the right octets that I want it when it's at a certain spot. But anyways, so that's why if you're like, hey, didn't you say like there's like 11 and 22 are the things? And it's like, yeah, I did. It's just, it'll get there. It'll change it. So yeah, so this is a really fast, quick way to like, am I done? Am I not done? So also to that effect, what's also very cool is like if it'll say errors right here if there's errors. So how to like, you're like, oh my gosh, what errored? I don't know. And so what you can do is you can do Ludus range errors. This is probably going to break because there are no errors, but I'm going to just run it anyways. Oh, it doesn't break. Cool. That's nice. That's cool. So yeah. So, but if there's errors, it'll actually be verbose. And so this is super helpful. Like if you're trying to troubleshoot or if you want help from somebody in the Discord on the Ludus Discord, we would love to have that as part of it. And also another thing that's kind of with the error deal is when you deploy, like say like, or if you want to do like range logs F, you can do like verbose and it'll be like very verbose in like the output. And so that also helps with like troubleshooting and errors and stuff. So that's another cool command to know. So let's get back to the stuff at hand. What else we got? Oh, I copied the wrong. Oh, I guess I copied it from up here, but I should have done right here. So this is all good. Cool. Love it. All right. So what else is going on? Oh, okay. So it talks about, so here's that WireGuard, the VPN that I was talking about earlier. So to get a config, this is the command. I can't do it right now because it's like building out the lab, what have you. But when you do that, this pops out. And pretty much you just take that, copy it, name it whatever, like I named mine, like here, I'll bring mine back up, like Skull 152 workshop, but make sure it's a .conf file and don't save it as a text file and think you can change it to a conf later because I don't know, I had problems with that and that sucked. And so I just had to make a new file and not have it as a text file and just have it as a .conf. Anyways, yeah. Cool. So that's all you do there. You just do that as a .conf file, name it whatever you need to, and then go ahead and add the tunnel. So you can go in here, and as you can see, I have separate users. So each user, 1 through 4 here, has their own Ludus VPN into their own range if they build out their ranges. And this is kind of complex and like a different subject, but like I have a thing that I'm working on for a workshop, and basically I can grant these users access to the workshop users range. And then they can still get in with each of their separate config files into the one range. Anyways, so yeah, so select one of these things, open it, and you'll be in here and you'll have it, and then just activate it and you'll be VPN'd in with that. That's that. Everyone here should know VPNs, right? We should all be VPNing everywhere all the time. Cool. So now that we VPN'd in, yes, this is awesome. This is what I mentioned earlier before. It's super good to have is this RDP deal. So basically, so you don't have to manually do things again, because again, Ludus is all about automating this, just the mundane stuff away from you. So we can do that command via a different machine, because this one's still doing what it's doing. I have the completed a baked version over here, and so we'll do that command. So let me move this over, pull up that command, copy it. So you notice that I'm not fooling around, messing around. All right, Ludus range RDP. So great. But before I do that, where am I? I'm in root. Let's see what I have. Okay, I only have those things. Okay, cool, that's fine. All right, so I'll do Ludus range RDP, and then it'll drop it into that current file path. That's why I was checking. And so now it says, hey, file downloaded, saved as RDP zip. So if I ls again, you'll see it, there it is, RDP zip. And what I typically do is I move it, RDP zip, to the temp folder. And then I call it something substantial, whatever it relates to. Not really doing that right here, right now. But I move it to the temp file, and then I pull up on my Windows machine, my host machine that I'd have to, kind of where I have my WireGuard and where I search for my tunnels is on my host machine. So on there, I just like here, I basically SCP to, well, I'm using root. You don't have to use root, but I'm using root. Going to the box, specifically, this box is not that actually. So this box is, oh yeah, it's 191. So yeah, so I just changed this to 191 and I change it to Jesse. I think I had a capital there, right? And then I tell it to just put it here in my where I want it right here. And so I can just do that. Oh, and my password. It's a little long. Oh, no such file. I probably did it wrong. Jesse RDP. So let's find out. Oh, I didn't capitalize it. Sweet. All right. All right. All right. So 100%, as you can see there, it's there. And so like if I were to go back to my WireGuard, add the tunnel, go into labs, go into RTA where I saved it to. It should be in it. There it is. First, you'd have to actually extract it before you could move it anywhere. So what I would do is let's go ahead and say there's not an extract there. Yeah. Let's see here. Will this do it? Nope, it won't.
It was on that menu.
It was on that menu?
Extract all.
Extract all.
Up, down,
Oh,
down, down. There.
Excellent.
There you go.
Thanks, Warlock. All right, so yep, extract it. And here's your things for your RDP. And so what I'm going to do now, and this isn't WireGuard, by the way, but it's a way for me to look at it and not open up a bunch of files that I don't want to on my system. So now that I know that that's there, what I can do is I can go into your favorite, remote desktop manager. I can say, let's see here. I can add a new folder. I can call JM. I can then right click on it and import. Oh, this is not big enough. Make this smaller. Okay, so let's scroll up. Import. All right, so here's import. And then we want to import sessions from this RDP. So we do that and we'll go to labs. So it just didn't go very far. RTA. There's the Jesse RDP. And here are the two. And, if you had a bigger environment, this would be more beneficial. 2 is not that big of a deal, but go ahead and import. Yep, I want to import the content. Thank you. Okay. And then now you have the content in there. And so you can just say open the session. If you're VPN'd in, it would go through. I am not VPN'd into this particular environment, the 191 environment. So again, if we were to play this out fully, I'll deactivate this. I'll go into the right environment. And with JM user, click on this. Hopefully I didn't go too fast because this was activated. And as you can see, I'm in the environment because I'm actually getting a prompt. Because, oh gosh, I can't spell. Yeah, password, all lowercase, one word. And then there we are. We're in the system. Yay, in the system. That easy. So it makes it really easy. It's really nice. Love that feature of Ludus to be able to just spit out these RDP files and get you going into a system real quick. So that's cool. And as you can see, when you're first in AD, it's just normal AD stuff. So let's go ahead and minimize that. Let's go back to the stuff. So just for giggles, we can go back to here and check out the logs where we're at. Oh, I don't want verbose. If you're, checking for errors, yes, definitely verbose. So it looks like it's doing something with the server. Looks like it's creating the domain, and then it's going to reboot after the domain creation. So if we were to we could also, if we're super impatient, we could watch it up here, DC console, and yep, it's rebooting. Sure enough, it's telling the truth. So cool, great. And let's get back to the documentation. So right on, fast forwarding a bit. So let's see here. What else is going on? And of course, you can do Linux with SSH port 22 to get onto those machines, like say the Cali if you wanted to do that. But why do that when you can VNC and use this port? So let's do it. So let's see here. If we go back here and let me go to summary, let me see what VLAN it's on. It's on 2. So if I go up here to my my deal here and I use VLAN 2, it should access it. I think. Yeah, it should access. Or wait, 152. This isn't the one that's going, right? Oh, sorry, it's still being built out. So no, it's being built out. But once it's being built, once it's done, you could get to it. I showed you earlier. So I don't really need to show that piece again, really. I showed it earlier. So cool, great. That's the deal. And it's still going. I guess what I could do is I can say, get out of there, go into here, activate this, blah, blah, blah. And there it is. There you go. Hey, we're in. Cool. Actually, while I'm here, let's check it out a bit. So there's a few things to note. It's installing the bare necessities, and what I mean by bare necessities is if I do history, you're going to need to do apt update. Making this bigger. Sorry, it's scrolling off the page. Oh, I thought it was scrolling off the page. It's just scrolling. Nope. Nope. Whatever. All right. I want to make it bigger. Zoom in. All right, that's better. What is that zoom in? Zoom in control plus plus? I thought I was doing that. Anyways, hopefully this is better. It's better for me. So yeah, so you're gonna have to do an apt update, apt upgrade, even install nmap. Believe it or not. So this is the bare essential, which is great because then you can put your own stuff on it. So for instance, I would say you would want to do stuff well, yeah, you go here too, but not here for right now. Talk about that later. So if you're doing pen tests and stuff, definitely want your own pen test repository of things. Copy and paste commands. But what I was going for here was for the Department of Energy. I'm part of the core red team over there, and we together built out a Ansible playbook on how to install tools onto Cali. So what we have here is, let's see here. If I just say Cali, Packer. No, I don't want any of those. Interesting. Maybe golden. Hey, sure, just search, please. Weird. All right, well, we'll just look under repository, and it should be just the first couple here. There it is, Golden Cali. So I would suggest doing something like, having your favorite goalie Golden Cali, where it will, like, for instance, this one has roles. In the roles, you will have some packages, and the packages will be in this task area. So, like, you can say, "Hey, I want to, install Docker. Hey, I also want to have Sublime Text because you like that kind of thing." But then you have all these things. I want to put Bloodhound on it. I want to put CMake. I want to put CrackMap exec. Obviously, you can see this isn't net exec. But still cool, still relevant. And then just, put whatever you want on it. And it's not so bloated as, like, I guess what you would normally see people using Kali.
Big question for you.
Yeah.
So this YAML file that you have in this repo, is this Kali specific or is it Ludus specific?
This is Kali Debian specific. Yes.
Okay. So
I would
this
not
is like,
use it on other.
I want to roll my own Kali and I want to roll it out to like this specification. And if you didn't use Ludus, you literally could just use this and point to this and build Kali from it.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. This is not anything to have to do with Ludus. Yeah. If you have your own Kali, basically
Kali.
you run this Ansible role and boom, it gets all this good stuff in it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. No problem. So cool. So yeah, so back to life, back to reality. So cool. So great question. Thanks for that. And yeah, so again, just kind of want to raise people's awareness that there will be some configuration. It's like, you got to bring your own set of tools to break into that physical, plant or whatever it is you're breaking into. You gotta bring your own tools. So this just kind of gives you the scaffolding, the infrastructure, and a little bit more. But you still need to, like, install the things. So like, like I installed netexec on there, kind of stuff. And then so with that, I'll also go into the VM. So like not this VM, but we will go into this VM I want to go into. Yeah, so we'll go into this VM. So this is our baked cake here. And so same with the idea of, before, what you saw was just like a server, and it's got a server. And if you went into tools and you went into like the directory, you would see it had a domain. You'd see the workstation is where the Windows 11 is joined. And you would see some users. You would see the domain user, domain admin, and you would see the local somewhere. I think is the local user somewhere. Maybe it's just administrator on this. Oh no, local. It's there. So yeah, you'd see these kinds of things, and that's pretty much all you would see. You would also see, let's see here. Let's see. Trying to see if there's any program files that it did that I didn't pay attention to. So if I go C drive, program files, it doesn't look like it installed anything that I noticed, unless it did a 64-bit. And so yeah, just Proxmox type stuff that is doing, like, putting the agent on. It looks like it does have a Spice agent in there for, like, probably inventory. I'm not sure what it's for, but that's not normal to be there. This vert IO win is also because of Proxmox. It needs it to, like, get various things going. Network is one of those things that it's not very easy to do, and so you need these, like, drivers for it. But yeah, so anyways, back to this. It's pretty basic, pretty plain kind of thing. But what you can do is you can go ahead and you can go back to the documentation, and you don't have to go to the documentation. You can put in your own, like, vulnerabilities or your own thing that you want to do, or you can use roles. And what roles does, like, for instance, there's this thing called ADCS, which it installs the Active Directory certificate service. And specifically, it installs kind of the pwnable certificate services. So it'll install, like, all these, like, pwnable ESC 1 through 13 kind of a thing. Not not all those numbers, but these numbers. And you can exploit each one of these kinds of things. So there are some things that it does, but again, if you know Ansible and you can like create a playbook, then you can automate your vulnerabilities or the thing that you want to try testing against. And like for this, what's cool about this is you can go to like, let's see here. Let's say ESC, exploit ADCS. Maybe I should say exploit ADCS. Guess I haven't gone to it. Anyways, there's a blog out there that you can totally one by one follow. Oh, somebody tried talking to me on Discord. I can take a break and look at that for a moment.
Now, see, that was me. I was just trying to ask a question and not interrupt you.
What's up? Yeah, no problem.
So I was just wondering if you had messed with the configuration files that like build the Windows machines, like installs programs on them during deployment.
Yeah.
Have you edited or played around with those at all?
Yeah, good question. I like it. It gets a little deep because there's a little bit of like Packer in the background that builds those templates that builds out things for you. And that's like one area you can do to like add things in the OS. But then there's Ansible, where you can add things to the OS, like you were seeing in that configuration file when I would do like oh, and by the way, what is this really done already? Did you actually get to see a deployment happen? That's kind of cool. But yeah, so like in here, it shows all the Ansible type stuff that's going. And in here, if you can create an Ansible thing, you can add something like if you want to do a software package or something, I would just use Chocolatey because it's installed on the system, but just use Chocolatey to install whatever the app is that you want, kind of a thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I was like looking for these config files when I was messing with Ludus, and I haven't really had time to dig into it yet. So I was just wondering if you had gotten there.
Yeah, I haven't, not fully. I will though. I will because I want to use this at WRCCDC and I want to use this at PRCCDC, and I will want to put like all sorts of crazy software on systems. And to automate that, I'm going to use Chocolatey, and I'm going to use it to go ahead via Ansible to install whatever the thing is I want.
So it'll be Ludus Part 3.
I'll let you know. But looks like we've got something here. I see a post from Eric. It looks like creating your own templates. Oh yeah, this goes deeper into the Packer thing I just mentioned. So yeah, check that out. That really gets into how much more you can do and configure and build out your OS. Also, actually, you know what? Now that he brought this up, I totally forgot. What I do, the cheap way I do it is I actually go into the system itself, and I can do whatever I want. Like I can like install, you probably want to do this. You'll want to do this. So I can install whatever I want. And then once I'm done, I just right click it, convert it to template, name it a certain template that I want. And then when I go here to my templates area, right, I then tell it to go to that template, and then it deploys that. Make sense? Kind of.
For sure. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's super cool. Yeah. So like with this one, like if I wanted, I'm not going to do that one because that one's not done. I'll just do like this one. I can open it up. I can, say I added something, but I'm just going to say I deleted this. Okay, it's done. Then I shut down, stop. It'll stop eventually. And then I just convert it to template, and then I just, whatever I name it. And then, yeah, again, I can just put it in here and deploy it out.
So Ludus leverages existing templates, right? It doesn't help you build the actual templates in Proxmox.
So if you check out that link, you can. There's a little more work involved. That was the quick and dirty way to do it. But in the meetup text is Eric posted this creating your own templates for Ludus. So it'll go into that. Yeah. It's just
like
more than what we can go over
something.
here. This was just to like create a AD, and you're getting all this extra fun stuff.
Right on. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. For sure, for sure. So cool. Let's get into since we finished, let's do that status deal. Ludus range status and see what the status is. Oh no. All right, it's error. Why? Let's find out. So let's do that error thing. Error while running chocolatey. And I might just rerun stuff. We're not going to make this a troubleshooting session. I'm not exactly sure why that did that. But what's cool about this is you can just run this again, and it'll skip all the let's range deploy. Where's range deploy? Range deploy. It'll skip anything that is built. So yeah, Ludus range deploy, verbose. So yeah, so for debugging, verbose kind of stuff is good. But anyways, so it deployed mostly. So let's go ahead and just like look up here and check it out. So like, looks like AD is there. If we go into it via this, pretty sure it already made the domain. But anyway, so again, it makes a very bare bones domain. So at least the domain's there, right? And remote controls enabled. So that's all good. As far as I'm concerned, if it's just a chocolatey package, not installing something, I can probably live without it. Yeah, Windows is up. Again, Cali's here, Cali. I could figure it out later. But most of the cool stuff is automated for us. So awesome, great. Cool. So how are we doing with time, Magos?
You have as much time as you'd like, man. Have at it.
Well, awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Well, cool. Let's see what Eric's probably on the fly helping me out here. Thank you. Let's see. What's this guy? The deploy error when chocolate packages reference files remotely that update before the author updates the checksum, you'll get those errors. So you can chocolatey ignore checksum true to your Windows key to ignore that error. Okay, so cool. So we can ignore it, and yeah, I don't do anything mostly with that anyways right now. Later on, when I plan on using chocolatey intensely and I really need it to work, I will definitely be using that. So thank you, Eric. And yeah, this is great. So I'm going to dip into, let's say, okay, so we have this up and we have this right now. You see a red screen. So I'm going to go into a little more details here. This means it can hit the internet. And okay, so it can hit the internet. This hasn't been, this should also be red. So this piece didn't get done. Interesting. So I'm just gonna see something here. Hey, it's chocolatey again. All right. Well, I'm going to do it with a baked version because I don't know, since it's deploying again, I don't want to mess with this one. But we'll look at the baked version. On the baked version, I'm going to start up the thing I shut off. On the baked version, we've got, again, the red screen, meaning you have internet access. Eventually this will come up. We'll wait a little bit. So what I want to go over is the testing. So there's this where you can, this piece where you can not hit the internet, so you can test. So we'll do Ludus testing start kind of a deal. So back to here. I just want to make sure this Windows 11 is up. Okay, so see, this is what I was looking for before, a red again on the background. And there's certain things that happen to make this background occur, and you can dig into the code. I don't remember exactly what it is, some kind of PowerShell thing to like example.com or something. But cool. So anyways, let's do the testing. So right now this red means, oh, holy crap, watch out. You could infect your business's environment if it's connected. So what we'll do is I'm on 152. So this is 152. I just got to make sure where I'm at here. 152. Okay, cool. Let me cancel. Oh, what did this do? Did it, just out of curiosity, change 0 fails, it looks like? Oh, except for this one. Out of curiosity, let's go back up here. This is red. Is this now red? Dang it. Okay. Anyways, I'm just going to carry on with this one. So back here, we're going to turn this green. This is what we're going to do. We're going to turn this green. So let's go ahead and cancel out of this. I'm the JM. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to impersonate. I think I'm doing that right. I have to impersonate the workstation person. So I'm going to do Ludus range, or actually Ludus test start via a user workshop 1. I think that's, let me make sure, WKSHP1. Okay, so Ludus test start. So we're gonna make that bigger. It doesn't look very nice. So here we go. Cool. So did you mean to do this? Oh, did it not like the way, maybe I had to say testing? Sorry about that. Okay. As you can see, this is waiting for server. That means it's working. Yay. Very cool. While it does that, and it doesn't take very long. So while it does that, we'll look over here and we'll look at the snapshot area. So you'll see right here that it does a snapshot at pretty much right now, 7:33. And it'll do that for any environment that in the configuration is set to say, yes, please do a snapshot on testing. And so this also has a snapshot. So this, again, very handy for testing to have a snapshot, super cool. And let's dig into that configuration so that you kind of see that, where that looks like. So if we do look for the configuration, I believe it is this configuration. So we'll do nano, because everybody loves nano. And we'll go here. So down here, this is the area. So it says testing here and snapshots true. So that's what's allowing that to go ahead and do a snapshot. And then here's the block internet. So that, again, is what is allowing to block the internet for this Windows 2022. And if we go down, this is very granular. So you can do that for this Windows 11 down here. Again, snapshots and block internet. And then Cali. So with Cali, so this is an interesting thing, right? You're like, well, I want my Cali to have full, like, everything, internet and everything. Sure, you can do that. And that's what I did here. So you're good there. You just got to say false. So that's cool. Right. C-axis. All right, cool. So that's that. That's what that looks like in the configuration. So just to be clear, though, when you deploy, it's not going to make a snapshot, and it's not going to, do this configuration when you deploy. I made that mistake. It only happens when you do that testing command. So cancel out. So yeah, when you do this Ludus testing start command. So back to here, let's go ahead and look at the console, and we'll see now it's green. So that means, hey, you're good to go. Release the malware. I don't care. You're not going to hurt anybody. Pretty nice feature, I would say myself. A must-have. All right. Cool. So that's neat. That's fun. Great stuff there. I think I was talking about, and I was going to go into really quick into roles and how to deploy like ADC. So let me real quick see if I did deploy certificate services on here. So if I go to tools and I now have certifications authority on here. You can see under certificate templates, here's the exploitable template stuff that you can go read some blog to figure out how to exploit later. But how to put this on our current system, like let's say we wanted to do it on this one up here via this one, which if we look, here and we go into here, we'll see, yeah, it's not here. And if you go into tools, you'll see you don't have it here either. So not going to have it. So, but if we go back here and we go into the JM1, which is the Ludus config from earlier, and we do like find the AD, which is this is the primary DC, and we add a role. So we say roles. And so let me go to the actual documentation so that you're like, Jesse, you're just typing stuff. That doesn't help. So if we go to the roles area, here's the roles area. And first and foremost, you actually have to add it via here. And what this is doing is using Ansible Galaxy, pulling it down from Ansible Galaxy, this role, this Ansible role. So that's what you would do. It's already on here, so I don't have to do it. Well, actually per user. So I'll have to do it per this user because it hasn't been done this user. So let me cancel out this and say, don't modify. So let's go ahead and add the role. I guess I already added it. So you'll get this if you've already got it. It says it too, is already installed. I couldn't remember if I tested this earlier today or not, but yep. So it's already installed. You definitely want to follow the docs, do that. And then let's see here. Then, here we go. So it's roles right there. And then, well, that's not, well, let's go to the actual role. So here's the actual role that we want to check out. And we can pull it up and we can see what it says here. And it'll basically give us the template right here. So here's our roles, and here is our Ansible Galaxy role that we want to use. It's all we really need. So it'll basically end up looking a little like this piece. And here's that primary DC again. So let's actually do it. So if we go in here and we do this and we come down here and 1, 2, 3, 4, paste. I can't tell if that pasted right. Did it? It doesn't look like it did. Okay, so yeah, that can't be there. 1, 2. That looks right. That looks right. Okay, goodness gracious. Okay, so we're gonna save that role. Save the role. Exit out, and then if we want to only do that role, and it'll probably tell us we can only just do that role. So let's go in here. Is there a thing at the bottom? No. There should be, it's defined, user defined. But I'm seeing if there's just a document on here that has it. So yeah, we'll have to do this again. So we'll have to, again, you have to say, since you change the config, you need to set the config to deploy this way. So we're going to set it now that we've changed it. Let me go back. And I could do that, but I want to be specific. So let me see if I can just like user defined. There we go. This is what the T, that's what I couldn't remember, this T piece. That's what I want. Okay, cool. Okay, crisis averted. So back here, we'll do Ludus, range, deploy. It'll deploy as me JM. So I'm just going to do this, and then it'll just do the roles piece of it and not the entirety of the thing. So, so let's, again, Ludus, range, logs, F to kind of see what it's doing. And we'll see that it's setting up that role. So super cool. And it's installing ADCS. So that may take some time. So there you go. You have an attack lab ready to rock after this. And then you can go to your favorite. And actually, I'm gonna provide this, but I'm gonna do something off window real quick. I'll see if I can find it in my Gmail. I just don't want to inadvertently expose some things. I do that a lot. It's good times. All right, cool. So here it is. I found it. So if you check out this, and I can go ahead and put this in the meetup text. So this person talked about all of the the templates, basically, the certificate templates, and all the different ways to attack them. and then also runs through the exploitation. So this is super cool. So not only have you today seen how to build out a lab really fast, an AD lab with Ludus, but also how to add the ADCS and reference this cool blog to read through these different ways to attack it and exploit it. I think this is amazing. I hope you think this is amazing. And I think I'm just going to end with this. Any questions? Thank you.
That was a fantastic fire hose of information, dude. I loved it.
Right? Thanks.
Yeah, great talk, Jesse.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Very good.
Are you using this right now in at work or any real environments, or just for at home in the home lab?
I know my work. There's one person in like a different team off from me that's investigating because the whole like VMware fiasco. So they're looking into it. And of course, I'm going to be like, hey, if you need any like help, I'm here for you. But also, I'm part of a student club at the university, and I've installed it on 2 servers there, 2 Dell servers, one with like 400 gigs of RAM, so don't be jealous. And then another server, and it's been amazing to have Ludus on there. It is it's so nice. All right, any other questions? I have a question for everybody here. Who has Ludus at home? Who wants Ludus at home? That should be the other question.
But it's about to be.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm putting it on my MS-01 actually right now. I'm doing the downloads.
Nice. Nice.
I got a question.
Is there any reason not to run this like as a, I want to say production environment, but something that's close to it, like using the Ludus framework for like a production deployment?
I don't see why not, but Eric will chime in.
So I got a question about your templates. So
yeah,
the Windows templates, or I don't know, whatever, like these machines, whatever you converted them to templates. In terms of like, there's different ways, like somebody posted a link to like how you could use Packer or something to make those templates. So how did you specifically make those templates in Proxmox, like by hand?
No, they come with some default stuff. So like if I go and let me scroll up to the templates area, does he talk about how they're default? So anyways, I'll just show you their default. So basically this is what you do. You go Ludus templates list for the first time when you after you install and you get to a certain part, you say Ludus templates list, and it'll list. And I haven't changed it. I haven't added any to this particular test Ludus machine because I have 2. I haven't added. So this is what comes built with Ludus. I mean, not built. I'm sorry. No, it's not built. See where it says true here? These are all false. You actually have to type this and it builds. This does take a long time though. Just a heads up. It takes a long time because it's actually doing that whole click through everything, build out everything when it builds out the system for you. So this is what comes with it, and you have to build it when you first get stuff going. And the documentation's in there on what you have to do. So if you go here to Ludus and you go to Quick Start, and I want to say, oh, here it is, build templates. So here you go. So yeah, see, it looks like this, false. But then yeah, you just say,
so it's literally building you like a Windows VM and then converting it to a template in Proxmox.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
So is it all sysprepped or something? Or
it does do sysprep on Windows. Yep. There's a thing in that's in the deployment, in the configuration. You can actually tell it to or not. So that's more important if you're joining it to a domain, right?
As far as like licensing or something, is that part of the process?
Hey. Good try. Good try. You could probably do something on your own, but
can you show me that config file, by the way? All right.
Oh, it looks like Eric mentioned something. What's the free version of Ludus requires the local user to be on each machine with password. Password is password, all lowercase. If you want to use Ludus in production, reach out. Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. So the Bad Sector Labs is totally making that for enterprise. If you're doing it for enterprise, totally get that support, right? If you want like you want the top notch stuff, go Ludus Enterprise.
Very
And-
cool.
Yeah, and I do have kind of a general question, right? So like Ludus is a way to leverage Ansible to jack around with Proxmox, install it from scratch. It's great, right? But as an alternative, right, to Ludus, I guess you could use Terraform, right, with a Proxmox provider.
Nope. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Nope.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop there. So we've gone really long though for this video. I think we're gonna cap it off here, Warlock.
Right on.
Right on, man. Well, hey, so thank you so much, Jesse. And yeah, we'll go ahead and cut the stream.